hope you guys had an amazing lunch. I'm a little bit jealous of everybody that ate because I specifically skipped lunch so I could look good in this dress for y'all. Okay? Yeah, I tried, girl. I appreciate it. Okay, yes, get this photo, boo. All right, I love looking good. I love being on stages, love having my hair done, makeup done, all of that. And in fact, 6 years ago, I called myself a style blogger. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get into this blogging world. Let me give y'all some of this African print. Let me give y'all some red lip, red pant combo. I was giving you guys all of the accessories I bought. I was 100% into this lifestyle blogging. I was even teaching you guys how to shape your brows, fill in your brows, making sure that it looked good. But the only issue was that this was not my lifestyle. So when I first started, I was a freelance graphic designer, and I didn't really leave the house that much. I only really needed to wear like a t-shirt and some sweatpants to really do like video calls with my clients. So I really didn't like this, but I thought that this is what I was supposed to blog about. So I have an older sister, her name is Maddie James, and she is a style blogger. And so my only example of successful blogging was style blogging. So I'm like, if I'm gonna be a blogger, then obviously I have to blog about makeup, I have to blog about hair, I have to blog about beauty. But I hate shopping, I hate spending money on clothes. That phase lasted for about like 4 weeks. So it was cute while it lasted. Because one, I felt like I looked what I should build a business doing, right? And that's a message I want you guys to walk away with. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. So I thought style and beauty blogging was the route to go because that's where I saw success in. And that's what happens a lot of times when we enter an industry, whether it's coaching, whether it's blogging, whether it's YouTubing. We find ourselves in industries or in topics that are not aligned with our own passion and purpose because we think that's where the money is. So I finally started becoming more successful with blogging when I talked about what I knew about, which at the time was freelance graphic designer and how to build your brand online. When I started talking about something that I actually had experience in and that I was doing every single day, that's when I started to attract more clients and I was making more money and it was way less headache. And one question that I had to ask myself was, am I adding value or am I adding noise? Am I adding value or am I adding noise? When I was in the style blogging space, even though it was just for the 4 weeks, it was noise. It looked good, it was polished, but it wasn't valuable because it wasn't coming from an authentic place. It wasn't coming from a place of, I actually know what I'm talking about. I was sitting there borrowing clothes from my cousin and posting it online. So it was just a bunch of extra noise. That's something that's really important to ask yourself when you're creating content consistently. So, like I mentioned, when I started talking about how to make money as a freelancer, that's when people started paying attention to me, right? But one thing that I want you guys to know is I'm not successful because I talk about money or because I talk about branding. A lot of people come into the online space and feel like I have to talk about money in order for people to trust me and take me seriously as an expert. I'm successful in what I do now because I'm actually educated in the thing that I'm talking about. A lot of people can be successful in any different industry, but you're going to be successful in the industry that you have the most experience in and that you have a legitimate expertise in. So the reason that I share that story with you is I don't want you building an entire brand and wasting your time, your money, your energy, your resources, building a brand in an industry that you're not even passionate about. That's one of the most important things about nailing your message. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So my goal for today is for you to get really crystal clear on your God-given message. I want you guys to know how to create amazing content that you can share with the world. And I also want you to master storytelling. And then of course, I want you to make money with your message. Who in here is trying to make some good money with their content? All right, cool. So a close friend of mine, her name is Emily De La Cruz. She's gonna come up and teach you guys how to create funnels and make money with your message. I'm going to teach you how to get crystal clear with your message, because a lot of people come into this space and they want to immediately make money without their message being clear. And they spend a lot of money on ads, on billboards, on looking good online, but because their message isn't clear, it's not resonating with the person who would actually be paying them. So what I'm gonna do is walk you through how to get crystal clear on your money-making message, and then Emily will come up and teach you guys how to put that message into the universe and how to automate your sales. Y'all cool with that? All right. I'm gonna be talking very quickly because we only have 45 minutes, but I'm gonna send you guys my slides. If you go to mayaelias.com/FWD, you can get the slides. So don't worry, take some pictures of this, but I'm gonna go quickly and you'll be able to get the slides after this. Alrighty, so as you guys know, my name is Maya Elias. I'm a personal branding strategist. I primarily work with women of faith, and I help them get really crystal clear on what their God-given message and purpose is, and then I help them position themselves as experts in their industry so they can launch and develop high tier or high premium programs, courses, or workshops. I primarily work with people who have an expertise and they want to create some type of curriculum-based content. I've been doing this in the branding space for about 10 years now, and now my mission is to help a lot of women make money in the online space as well. And some fellas too, but I am a little bit partial to women. Y'all are easier to work with. So again, this version of me, it was cute, it looked good, it was polished, but it was not my calling. I was not making a lot of impact talking about this because it's not what God assigned for me to do, right? There's a lot of people in the style space who make a huge impact because that's their calling, but this was not my calling. My calling is helping entrepreneurs monetize their message. Once I really fully stepped into that space and felt more confident and comfortable into that space, that's when I started to make a huge impact. Getting in Forbes, getting on big platforms, getting in stages, helping a lot of clients make a big impact. That's what I was able to do because I got clear about what lane I needed to be in, okay? So here's an example of some clients that I've helped, helping people get clear on their message, help them get more confident in increasing their prices and asking for what they deserved. I have a couple other clients here who, after working with me, 6 weeks later, they had successful 5-figure launches with their courses. Other clients here who got clear on, again, their message, how they should be making an impact in the world. Another client here who doubled and even tripled her income actually and was able to quit her job because she got clear and confident in her message and was able to ask for more money. So I show these examples not necessarily to talk about what I was able to do, but to show that I wouldn't have been able to make this type of impact if I was trying to stay in a space that I thought I was supposed to be in. Being in a space where, oh, I can only be popular or successful if I talk about makeup. I can only be popular or successful if I talk about my shoes or style or beauty. I'm only able to make this type of impact because I was really clear on what my assignment was. I can't do what everybody else is doing. And so I want you guys to be really confident that you should be doing exactly what you're called to do, even if it doesn't look popular to you at first, okay? So again, I want you guys to be on have the same level of confidence that I do, and I want you to feel really confident in the message that you are putting out there. So I'm gonna walk you guys through how to get crystal clear on your message. We're gonna talk about the discovery phase. The first thing that I want you to think about is, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? And I'm sure that as a creative, you've heard this question before, and it could be a little bit hard to answer this question because as creatives, we want to dabble in every single thing, right? Who here is passionate about more than 5 things you feel like? Right, everybody here. So I'm gonna rephrase this question for you. Instead of what are you passionate about, I want you to think about the things that you hate. What is it that you're not passionate about? Because I believe that passion is love and hate at the same time. Passion is love and hate at the same time. And I'll go ahead and give you an example here. So when I was still a freelance designer, I was really passionate about excellent design aesthetic. I love good presentation. Because I hate to see ugly graphics, I cannot stand to see somebody that is beautiful and has an amazing brand, has an amazing message, and their website is ugly. It literally makes me want to like tear the skin off my body. I hate it, okay? I'm so passionate about that. And I love to see beautiful websites. I love to see beautiful people represented well. this is my passion. And I believe that the strongest movements, they're not born out of love, they're born out of hate. And they want to see a change in the world. So my question to you is, what do you hate? That's how you can figure out your passion. So I want you guys to think about that as we go through the weekend. Here's a couple of examples of some things that I hate. Like, I personally hate that there's a negative stigma among Christians about making money. I hate that. I love that we can take the gifts that God has given us and make money with it, and do more to serve people and do more with the kingdom. That's why I specifically also work with women of faith, because I know sometimes our mindset is that we're not allowed to make money. Because I hate that stigma, I built a brand where I can combat that stigma, okay? So think about what you hate. All right, take a quick screenshot of this. I want you guys to answer these questions. A couple of questions to help you think about what you are passionate about. But the last two that I think are important is, how would you like to see the world change? And what makes you feel violated or disrespected? What makes you feel violated, disrespected, or annoyed? I used to say that the best blogs were just sophisticated rants. You find something that really gets on your nerves and then you blog about it because you want to see the world change in that aspect. Okay, so here's your template. I think you guys already took a picture of that. So quickly, I want to talk to you about passion versus purpose. A couple of you guys who follow me on Instagram might have recently seen my video on why passion keeps you broke and why purpose actually makes you money. So when it comes to passion as well, passion is something that's usually for us. It's something that makes us happy. It's something that's personal to us. Like for me, again, my passion was like excellent design aesthetic, but I was designing way before people ever paid me. That was something that I was doing for myself. I believe that our purpose, number one, derives from our story, and our purpose is specifically to serve somebody else. When you put the two things together, then you can make money and do it in a way that's fun. I like to use my passion to fuel my purpose, which is to help women build their online brands. So with your purpose, you want to figure out exactly who you are supposed to be serving, and you can figure that out through understanding a little bit more of your story. So this is the framework that I use when I teach my clients how to create their brand story. The things that you want to have regarding your brand story, or even your everyday storytelling, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or any type of content that you're creating, is you want to have a past. You want to talk about your experience, right? This is what positions you as an expert, talking about what you've been through. And you talk a little bit about vulnerability, because this is what humanizes your brand. And then you want to talk about your pain or your problems, the struggles that you went through, because this is most times going to be the same struggles that your ideal client is going through right now at the same time. And then your purpose is the solution. So an example of storytelling here is telling how I transitioned from design to being a designer to becoming a strategist. So my past was I was a graphic designer in college. The pain or the problem was that I wanted to drop out of school, but I was really nervous because I have African parents and they're just not even about that life. And then my purpose was that I finally found the courage and the clients to confidently drop out and be successful in my business. So this is one of my main brand stories that I tell, especially if I'm speaking at colleges or working with women who want to leave their full-time job, because they connect with the pain or the problem of wanting to leave one area of their life and then going to another area of their life, but not having the support system that they think they would have. And so I realized that my purpose was to not only help women build their brand, but to also give them the confidence to be able to do it, and also make sure that they had enough clientele to confidently feel like they could do this full time, because that's in full alignment with my story. Is this making sense? Okay, cool. Can I get a time check? I don't know if that means I have 5 more minutes or I was on for 5 minutes. I got 3 more minutes? Okay. Wow. All righty. Okay. So again, you have like your main brand story, then you have your everyday storytelling too. And I love telling stories on Instagram. And I think a lot of people downplay their experiences and their stories, but it's our everyday storytelling that really makes people connect with us. Like, we like to make jokes around like, oh, why would I take pictures of my food and post it? But those are the little things that get people to be like, oh my gosh, you eat at Chipotle too? Oh my gosh, you love Jesus too? Oh my gosh, you be twerking too? Like, everybody loves those little every single day stories, and that's how you build connection. So of course you want to position yourself as an expert, talk about what you know about. You want to be seen as the absolute best in your industry, but you want to be somebody that's approachable. You want to be somebody that people are able to connect with. Because a lot of people, they will hire you because of your expertise, but they'll also hire you because they feel like there is a connection. They feel like they can trust you. They feel like you actually get them. A lot of people, before they hire you, they feel like they're the only person that's going through something. And when you can show that you went through some struggles and some issues as well, that's what builds that trust. So that's why it's so important to do some storytelling. All right, so again, I said your purpose is to help somebody avoid the things that you went through or that you saw somebody else going through. And your purpose is to use your experience to help somebody avoid unnecessary struggle. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So that someone is your audience. If you've been struggling to figure out who is my audience, if you are in this space of teaching or providing a service, your audience is most likely going to be somebody that is struggling with something that you struggled with before, and you want to help them avoid that. So when it comes to your audience, take a picture of this and make sure you download the slides, mayaelias.com/FWD. But these are the things that you want to know about your audience in order to confidently sell. You want to know the problems that they are dealing with. You want to know the type of pain that they're experiencing because of this problem. And then you want to know their deepest desires. And then what you need to know is, what is the solution in order to make sure they get their desire and to make sure that they are able to alleviate this pain and to solve this problem. The solution is what you're going to sell to them. Does this make sense? Awesome. Good. Y'all got a picture? All right, cool. So this is the last thing that I want to teach you. I want to teach you to be really confident in expressing what it is that you do. I call this your value proposition. You know, when somebody asks you what you do at a conference and then you just start word vomiting all over them because it's really hard for you to be clear and concise, I want you to practice figuring out what your value proposition is. So take a picture of this template. So for me, I usually describe myself as a personal branding strategist that works with women of faith and helping them build their online brand. I want you to be really clear and confident in how you describe what you do, who you help, and the results that you are getting them. So use this template here to be clear and confident about what you do, okay? Make sure you download this. And also remember that the right message is created with your experience and audience in mind, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and invite Emily up here. I want you to think about the solution that you are providing to your audience. The solution that you're providing to your audience, because that's what you're going to sell. This make sense? Awesome. I'm gonna invite my girl Emily up here. Clap it up for Emily De La Cruz. She's about to come up here in her little pink outfit. My bad.
So while I get these slides together, I just want to let you know that this is all great. This is all wonderful. Sales funnel are amazing. Monetizing your message is amazing. But we need to talk about people. And the reason why I'm standing here today is because Maya actually got asked to speak, and she asked if I could co-present with her. So while you're here and while you're connecting, don't be so pressed or so, worried about the speakers and the sponsors and all of that, because your next opportunity could be from the person that's sitting right next to you. And those are the most important people on your journey. Maya has changed my life in so many ways, so I definitely want to thank her for that. And I want you guys to realize that too, because had I realized that way early on in my career, I wouldn't have been wasting time chasing the popular people on Instagram, and I would have spent my time really building relationships and connections with the people who would change my life. So just want to put that out there. Sis, all 500 slides though, really? Where I'm supposed to be pointing this at? AV, can you just slide to the slide with my face on it? Okay, boom, right there. Okay. So what you guys should know, I'm also from New York and I'm from the Bronx, so I'm gonna speed right on through this thing. So try to keep up. All right. So my gift is being able to teach entrepreneurs how to increase their revenue without increasing their workload. My business started out, actually, I was a side hustler. And when I replaced my salary, that's when I really knew that I was going to take my business full time. But I wouldn't have been able to replace my salary if I didn't figure out how to be able to make money while I was at work and while I was sleeping. Okay? You need to make two types of money. You need to make sleep coin and you need to make passive coin. Okay? And a lot of times, people think, oh, well, I have a service-based business, so having a service-based business requires me to be active. I need to be on consultation calls. I need to, be on Instagram. I need to post on Instagram every day. That's a lie. You don't need to do that, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with time. So is anyone here interested in increasing their conversions, in increasing their sales, right? Anybody here love to post on Instagram every day? Anyone here love to think about captions to write? Anybody here love to do sales calls, loves to go on lunch meetings that maybe don't turn into a client? You know how many people wasted my time over the last 10 years? Like, oh, girl, let's catch up. I would love to work with you. And then I'm like, yeah, it's going to be $3,500 that, I'm going to get back to you. And now I can't get that hour of lunch back. So I'm going to really talk about how to scale your business without putting as much time and energy as you have been putting in before. And this is what a lot of people think. They think, oh, well, I feel like I have to get a lot of work, I have to do a lot of work, or I have to get a lot of relationships going in order to get people to pay me. And that's not always the case, right? What I want to teach you is how you can use your online presence to build those relationships and to build your credibility so that your social media and your website and your messaging and communications does the relationship building for you. There's a lot of people, if you follow me on social media, that have come up to me at the conference. They're like, oh my gosh, I've been following you forever. Like, I feel like I know you, right? And there's complete strangers that pay me 4 figures to help them with their sales funnels. I've never spoken to them. I've never gone on the phone with them, but they feel like they trust me because of the message that I've created, right? So if you're not able to do that, you have what I call a credibility gap. And a credibility gap is the amount of time and energy that you need to be spending between getting someone from just being a browser to actually becoming a buyer, from someone to just consume your content or someone who's actually going to become your customer, okay? And credibility is really the number one reason why people cannot scale their business on autopilot, because they have to do all that manual labor to build their credibility. And in order to build their credibility, they have to put in the energy in order to also build their sales, okay? So this is how people think that they become credible. They think that they need to get on sales calls. They need to do live video every day. They need to create a bunch of free content. They need to post daily. They need to go to networking events, right? Isn't that what some of us have been doing? And we still not seeing results? And then you see homegirl that got one blog post and she's doing some Facebook ads and she's making $1 million, right? So now you want to be homegirl that posts once on Instagram and makes $1 million, right? Okay. So you don't need all of that, and I'm going to prove it. So these are my sales from March. And you can see my gross revenue was $19,000 in, 3 weeks? Oh, thank you. Y'all so cute. Y'all so nice. But I have a service-based business. I don't get on consultation calls. I don't do live stories. I don't blog. I don't do videos. I haven't podcasted in God knows how long. But my revenue still gets generated because I put in place a sales funnel. And I want you to meet other people who have been able to do the same, because I want you guys to be able to picture and imagine what your business could look like with this kind of system. So Eliana is one of my clients, and she came to me. She had a 4-month-old baby. She was running a microblading studio, and she wanted to launch an online course. And she's like, girl, I just don't have time to, do these live courses in my shop. Like, I need to be able to put this online. So after working with us, she made $21,000 in 7 days because she put a sales funnel in place. She didn't go live. She didn't run Facebook ads. She didn't need to do 1 million Instagram stories, 1 million posts. She understood how to create a sales process where she could take her organic audience and turn them into customers. And I'm going to skip through all of these because my clients be killing it all the time. Okay, so here's where people go wrong. They build a platform that's focused on creation instead of promotion, right? So they eliminate the need for their service or their product because they're so busy trying to teach people whatever it is that they offer. If I'm an accountant, I'm not going to tell you 5 ways to do your own taxes. I'm going to show you a case study so that you can book me to be your accountant, right? If I'm a hairstylist, you're not gonna be out here posting how to do your own braids or how to, put your own install on. You're gonna show your clients who have bomb hairstyles so that you can book me. And a lot of people are so focused on content creation because that's what we've been taught to do that they forget to actually promote the value that they have. Then there's also messaging. There's no case studies, there's no testimonials, there's nothing to show me that you've gotten results for yourself or for other people. So if I look on your Instagram right now, if I look on your website right now, are there proof, right? Is there proof, are there success stories that show me that you know what you're talking about and that would encourage me to pay you, right? Visuals, right? You wanna have Gucci price point, but your website looks like Rainbow, right? You looking like Dollar Tree, but you want to charge Versace prices. If you want people to invest in you, you also need to show that you've invested in yourself. And that's why, to Maya's point, your visuals are so important and good design is important because people who care about their brands are also going to be showcasing that they're credible because they've taken the time to build their own brand and therefore they can build other people's, right? Right. And then the last thing is there's really no marketing campaign. So you're going every single day, you're getting on your platforms and you're hoping that something's gonna work, right? You're like hoping that this post is gonna drive people to your email list. You're hoping that this video is gonna get people to your website, but there's no ongoing marketing campaign. So I'm gonna teach you my evergreen launch system, which is how you're gonna close the credibility gap and get more sales in less time and with less work. So this is how a funnel works. Go ahead, take a picture, do your thing. This is how a funnel works, and you start working from the bottom down. A lot of times, people don't have the actual foundation of a platform in order to build the rest of the system, and that's why it falls flat. So the first thing that you need to do is have a platform that generates leads and builds awareness. Once you have that platform, once you have that good aesthetic, once you have all of that, then you need to think about your positioning, which is how are you communicating your expertise and your value? I need to know what it is that you can accomplish for me as your potential client or as your potential customer before I ever pay you the money to do so. Then it's your presentation. How are you showing up? Right? What are your websites looking like? What are your graphics looking like? All that stuff is important. But people start with the presentation, right? They start with having a beautiful website, but they don't have any positioning and they don't have any platform. So they just have a beautiful visual website that doesn't have any value. And that's why presentation is third in the system because you need the other two to really set a strong foundation before you worry about presentation and then ultimately promotion, which is driving people to the channels that you've developed over time. All of these pieces are going to be interchangeable though, right? So your platform can be an Instagram page. It can be a Facebook page. It could be webinars. It could be how you interact in Facebook groups. It could be blog posts and podcasts, right? All of that works its way into your platform. But you also need to think about how you're positioning yourself with things like the copy that's on your sales page, the text that you use in your emails. If you are doing consultation calls, what's your script? Do you have a script or are you just winging it, right? You need to think about how all of those things work together. And now we're gonna dive into what these pieces actually look like in real life because this slide is great, right? All these pieces are great, but I'm gonna teach you how to really put them together. So does anybody here have a product or a service that's under $500? Raise your hand. Okay, this is for you. You can have what's called a passive funnel. And the way a passive funnel works is you take all that content that you're spending so much time creating, right? All the Facebook videos and the YouTube and all that type of stuff, and you're gonna be driving people to one thing and one thing only, and that's what's called your opt-in. It's the freebie that you get for people to download whether it's your service guide, your, like PDF, webinar, whatever it is. Yes, we got that? Okay. Once they download your opt-in, right, once they sign up for your email list, please do not send them a newsletter. I am here to tell you that newsletters have died. RIP. Post something out for them. It's over. They're dead. They're gone. Don't do them anymore, right? Why are they not important? In my opinion, because you broadcasting messages to a general group of people over and over again requires manual labor. Right? Every week or every month you need to show up to put this newsletter together instead of already having a sequence that automatically sends out to people, right? So let the newsletters go, and what you need to focus on is creating what's called an email sequence, okay? In this email sequence, you're gonna take your sales conversation and you're just gonna put it in email form. So you're gonna tell people what it is that you do, why they should buy from you, and most importantly, why do they need to buy now? So you need to have some sort of incentive. Is there a discount code attached if they purchase within the first 24 hours? Is there an extra added bonus module if they purchase within the first week? What is it that you're gonna do to entice people to pay for whatever it is that you're offering now? Because think about it, our money is tied to a million different things. We have to pay everybody and everything. So if you're not driving urgency with your sequence, then people are gonna forget about you and they're gonna move on to the next thing and they're gonna put their money into something else. And then they're gonna be, oh, I'm gonna come back to that. I'll buy it later. I'll do XYZ later. And then later never comes, right? Those emails with those messages are then going to be driving people to your sales page. So after you've made your case, right, after you've explained why it is that they should buy from you, why you're the person to do it, and why they should buy now, then you send them to the sales page to check out. But your energy should always be focused on getting people on your email list or on your text message list, but somewhere where you can continue the conversation, because if you're not proving your value up front, they're not even gonna care to click to the sales page to buy. Yes? Okay. Phone funnel. I debate about this all the time with my fellow entrepreneurs, because like Maya loves to sell on the phone, because she's like, girl, I'm not even gonna type no emails to convince these people. Like, I'm just gonna give them 15 minutes of my time and get their $5,000. But if you, like being on the phone, or you feel like your product or service requires some sort of interaction, some sort of like application process or something like that, then a phone funnel would be great for you, despite the price point. But usually best practice is if you have something that's premium, so about $2,000 and above, you usually want to get on the phone with people. But what people forget is that you need to get people excited to get on the phone with you in the first place. And really on the phone, you're closing. Your emails are what's doing the sales for you, right? So by the time they get on the phone, you're answering a couple of questions, you're making sure that they're a good fit, but they've already bought into the idea of investing in your product or service. So again, your content is driving people to that opt-in, to that freebie. You're getting them on your email list, you're getting them on your text message list. Then you're sending them messages to promote your call, right? You're sending them text messages to complete the application, to get on the wait list, to schedule the phone discovery call, whatever you want to call it. And then after they're on the phone, that's when you drive them to the sales page with some urgency. If you book today, I'm going to do XYZ. If I'm going to send you the link right now to my sales page, if you check out within the next 24 hours, I'm going to give you an extra 45-minute session. I'm going to give you an extra module. I'm going to take $100 off. And the thing with discounts is you don't need to actually discount your product. If I know that my offer is $3,500, I'm going to tell you that it's $4,000. And then on the call, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to give you $500 off, but you're still going to pay me all $3,500. You really are. And people think, that with discounting and stuff like that, that they have to decrease the price. No, just increase the price and then discount what you really want to get paid. Finesse. It's a city girl summer, baby girl. Like, we gotta get with the game. So if you're afraid of discounting, that's what I recommend to all my clients. Just bump up your price and then discount to what you really want. And then the last, which is, in my opinion, probably the most complicated funnel of them all, is the webinar funnel. And this is a funnel that you see every millionaire have, right? Everybody who's anybody online is currently doing a webinar funnel. And that is, you see a Facebook ad, you see an Instagram post, you see a story, you see something that drives you to the webinar page, right? You opt in, you see the webinar, and then on the webinar, they pitch you whatever it is that they're selling. But after the webinar, you can't forget to follow up. So you have to have an email sequence, right? You have to have some sort of messaging that's going to take people from watching the webinar and being excited to then actually going onto your sales page and checking out. Yes? Yes. So webinar funnels are good for really any kind of business, but what you need to keep in mind is that you need to produce an entire webinar, and in order to automate it, it's going to require some extra tools. So with the previous two funnels, what you need is a phone and an email marketing system: MailChimp, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft. I could be here forever naming them. The tool doesn't really matter. What's important is that you have all of the pieces that flow together to make your funnel work. For a webinar funnel, you need to also make sure that if you're going to automate it, you have the tools in place in order to be able to do that, so that way your webinars play even when you're not physically present. So a lot of the webinars that you see aren't live. They just make you think that they're live. Sorry to break your heart if you didn't know that. They're not really on there and they're not really answering questions. They did it one time 2 years ago and now they still doing it today. So what you also want to make sure that you keep in mind with a webinar funnel is that you're going to also have 2 sets of email sequences. You're going to have one set of emails that's going to drive people to the actual webinar, but the most important sequence is after the webinar when you upsell them into whatever it is that you're selling. And my clients have all put one of these 3 funnels in place and have made 5 figures within days. Right? Because they were already making money online, they were already successful, but they just took themselves out of the equation and they let the technology do the work. So instead of having a phone call, they're sending emails. Right? Instead of sitting there going live every day, maybe they're running Facebook ads. Instead of, having to go back and forth in emails answering frequently asked questions, their frequently asked questions are on their sales page. So every single piece of your sales process that you're manually doing can live somewhere within a sales funnel. It's just your job to master your message, in Maya's words, and really figure out what parts of my manual sales process can I make evergreen, can I make last forever, can I make work for me in an automated way on some sort of online digital platform, okay? Do we have time for questions? Okay, we have time for questions. Come on, Maya. Welcome her back. Oh, and real quick, if you guys take a picture of this QR code, it'll allow you to download a worksheet that'll help you map all of this out, because I know I had to fly through it, Good job, dude. Thank you. Y'all got this? Okay. And you just take a picture. Once you take a picture of it with your camera, whether it's iPhone or Android. Actually, I don't really know what Android is doing, but definitely Apple. It'll pull up a link for you to download it.
Okay, we have a question in the back of the room. Yeah.
Hi, you mentioned earlier how newsletters are dead. What about email? When we think about, it's built into a lot of the strategies. So when so many people are using email, I'm just wondering about the ROI and where the trajectory is for email over time. Yes. And whether it's dying a slow death as well.
Girl, it's all dying. No, I'm kidding. The thing we have to consider is, like Maya was saying, the space is very noisy. Think about how many newsletters, Forever 21 emails me every other day. I was going to say every week, every other day. There's a lot of competition in the inbox, but what's important to note is that most adults have email, and a lot of them are on email or on their computer all day because they work 9 to 5. So you really have to consider your audience. If you're targeting moms, and this is something I explain to my clients all the time, you have to think about your audience. So if you're targeting moms and you know that moms are not going to be checking email all the time, then maybe instead of sending emails, you need to focus on text or what's called ringless voicemails, or some other form that you're going to catch them in their daily routine because they might not be in the inbox. For me, I talk to a lot of side hustlers, people who have jobs, people who I know are sitting in front of a desktop for 8 hours a day, so email works well for me. I think, like I said, the manual sending of one-off emails is dying because people are really busy, and it's just like, just sell me whatever it is you're gonna sell me. Like, we already peeped game. Like, I don't need to know, what's going on your blog. Like, girl, are you gonna solve my problem or no? I just want, what you gonna do? You gonna make me money or are you not? So when it comes to newsletters, I always push people to say, okay, if you're committed to doing newsletters, automate them, right? So month 1, you're gonna talk about this. Month 2, you're gonna talk about that. Month 3, you're gonna talk about that. But then you schedule it out. So if Maria signs up in February, she gets month 1, month 2, month 3, right, in March, April, and May. But if, Susie signs up in May, then she's going to get the same emails 1, 2, and 3 just in May, June, and July. Does that make sense? If you have an e-commerce brand, same thing. You know when Black Friday is. You know that you want to do a free shipping offer. You know that you want to do buy one, get one free. So instead of thinking up those things one off, just schedule it out early in the year, and then you just set it to run on autopilot for all the people who run through your funnel. Does that make sense?
Hey guys, so we do realize that we ran through Maya's questions too, so you guys didn't get the opportunity to ask her questions. So you can preface either Maya or Emily for your question.
Yeah. Do you have something to add to that? No, I'm good. Okay. Maya also thinks that newsletters are dead.
Hi, so if we wanted to engage you, what's your engagement cost and how quickly do you get the results?
To build a sales funnel?
Yeah, and to get it to turn around to make the ROI, so your cost is muted by the results.
Right. So to work with me personally, me, Emily Dela Cruz, it's $3,500, and I build your sales funnel in 45 days, in 6 weeks. I also have a DIY program that's $497 called the First Funnel Accelerator, and you can learn how to build your own funnel yourself. So when you work with me, I write your copy, I do your design, I set it up, I do all that in 6 weeks. When you do it yourself, you do it in 7 days for $497. Oh, and the ROI, it depends on it depends on a couple of things. One, what's your already existing conversion rate? Because I'm not a magician, so if you make $0 online, girl, I don't know. But based on your past conversion rate, if I know that on average you make 25 sales a month or 100 sales a month or whatever, usually my clients triple their revenue after they implement a sales funnel, because we're just automating the success that you already have, right? Now, if you don't got no sales, this girl right here, it's for you.
Right. And I think I mentioned this before, like, you don't want to try to automate something that's not working. That's why I can't stand when people come in the game and they're like, I need a funnel, I need a funnel. And it's like, you need a product that's proven to sell, because people put so much money into ads and they're like, I'm not getting a return. Then they blame their ads person, then they blame everybody else. And it's like, you couldn't sell this awake and you're trying to sell this asleep. It's just not going to happen.
We don't even need to answer questions. Just say that. Just say that.
I'm done.
Ooh, child. Y'all got more questions? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, Lord.
I like that hat.
Girl, I'm dead.
What are the primary tools, we'll say maybe 3 to 5 tools that every entrepreneur needs to have on their phone?
On their phone? I don't know.
Instagram.
I'm on Instagram every day. So it's funny because sometimes our messaging can be a little bit contradicting. Any tool that's going to connect me with people that want to give me money, I'm on it. So I'm on Instagram. I like to sell through my DMs. Definitely Google Drive. I'm always on there. I'm on Slack because that's where I communicate with my assistant. So any type of communication tool. I think Asana, if you have a team, something like Asana or Trello where you can manage your projects. And those are like the main ones that I use. I don't really use that many. Oh, QuickBooks if you don't have a bookkeeper. Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously like some sort of kind of like graphic-y thing. So Canva, PicMonkey, Over app, like one of those. Because sometimes, you're like out and about and you want to make your Instagram story nice, or you want like to put up a quick post or something, then I would say like some sort of that. But because we're coming to you from a place where we've already automated a lot of our business. So most of the tools that we're using are collaboration tools and automation tools, right? So I use Slack and stuff like that because I need to connect with my team. I would say if you're starting off, the best thing that you can be on is wherever your audience is. So if your audience is on Facebook, then you need to be focused on Facebook. If your audience is, at live events, then you need to be on Eventbrite. If your audience is, on Instagram, then go be on Instagram. But I always say the best way to get sales is to just be where your clients are and spend time there.
My name is Cameron Fontaine. This question's from Maya. I noticed on your website that you said you probably shouldn't work with you if you have a physical product. What if your product is physical and service kind of combined together?
What is your product?
I'm a custom clothier, menswear stylist, so it's about the service, elevated service of getting the product to the client as far as the custom suiting. It's a very personal experience, going to them, measuring them, getting to know them and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's fine if it's a service. So I mean products like if you're trying to sell sunglasses and t-shirts, then no. So a lot of my clients, I want them selling something for a minimum of $500. I want my clients usually selling something around the $1,000 to $2,000 range. So if you're in that space, then yeah, I just want it to be premium stuff.
Him back here.
Hey, my name is Jay Veal. I'm CEO of Ink Tutoring. I have a tutoring business that services students from first grade to doctorate level. quick question. So this will be for Emily, right?
Emily, yeah.
Emily, yeah. So if I have a service-based business in education space, and most of the clientele comes either from an organic reach, whether I'm meeting them at events or physically, or online through Facebook. We do have some traction through Instagram as well. What would be the best approach that you would say makes more sense for my particular organization when it comes to building funnels for clientele? And we have clientele everywhere, but we have tutors housed in Dallas, Frisco, Chicago, DC, and Austin currently.
So it's referral based and in-person based. Okay. Let me back up. Back up. I just want to have it. Okay. It's not going to work. So I would say you want to have the passive funnel. So you want to have some sort of, you're going to have to segment it because people are different. Like what I'm looking for at the doctorate level is not what I'm looking for when I'm trying to find tutoring for my child. So first I would start by segmenting your main audiences, right? So I sell to parents who are looking for tutoring. I sell to, college students who are stressed out, and then I sell to doctorates who are like, listen, if I don't get out this program in 5 years, I'm gonna die. So I would say you would want to segment it out, and then either create an opt-in for each kind of audience, or create one opt-in that addresses each one. So that can be a general service guide, right? Helping people to understand whatever conversation you're having in person, you can put in a service guide. Right? Or if you're going to be doing a training, the training should be why tutoring changed my life. Because people are like, I'm smart, I got this. And it's how is me getting tutoring or how is me investing in this service going to change my life? So now you're going to have the success story of the doctorate who finished in 3 years instead of 5. So they saved, $75,000 in student loans because they finished sooner. Or, you have the child who's now not getting bullied because they got left back 3 times, right? So stuff like that, right? So you want to use case studies, and it doesn't have to be necessarily testimonies. It could just be general case studies. These are, the kinds of people that we work with, and here's how their life would be different if, they had invested in this service. And then in terms of your email follow-up, what's going to be your incentive, right? Do you have multiple packages? Is it, for example, let's say it's $150 an hour. I'm making it up. $150 an hour, but if they book within the first, 48 hours, now it's $100 an hour. For the package or whatever it is. So once you have them download whatever that service guide is or that training or whatever, then you give them a sequence of emails to get them to pay you. Because it's easy to get a recurring client, it's hard to get a new client. So the sooner that you can get them to pay you that initial investment, that initial deposit, the easier it will be to upsell them or to put them on, on an ongoing package. Does that make sense?
Hello. How y'all doing?
I did not think your voice was gonna sound like that.
So, I want to commend you all for the great work that you've done. Maya, I'm a fan and friend of yours since you've been on your journey. But my name is Travis P. Jackson. I'm the CEO of HBCU Pride Nation, where I promote black colleges and universities. Help students. Yeah, that's me.
You look so I don't know, so serious and and you so sweet.
Now, if I get in my serious spirit, it'd be a whole different story. But what I want to know as an entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs base their success on how far they have to go, and sometimes a lot of people don't think about where they've come from. So on your entrepreneurial journeys, what are some obstacles that you had to overcome in order to propel your career forward to where you are now?
That's a great question. I love that question because one of the things that I shared about storytelling is that a lot of us downplay our experience, and it's that specific experience that we've been through that allows people to trust us. So one thing that I do, especially when I have some doubt going on in my mind, do I belong at this stage? Do I belong in this room? Is I think about where I started, and Travis has seen me in my start. I used to take photos in the club. I was creating MySpace pages. When I say I had a design agency, that's what I was doing. So thinking about how far you've come, and something that I like to measure my success by is not what I've been able to do, but what my clients have been able to do. I measure a lot of my success based on the type of impact that I've had, and that's why I love getting case studies and testimonials from my clients, because what's important to me is if I keep going, somebody else is going to be served. So I think about the amount of people that I have served up until the time that I've been doing the work, and I think about how many more women will be served if I decide to keep going.
Ooh, child. I have so many obstacles, but I'm gonna give y'all 2 examples, which I think will relate. Because I was a side hustler, I felt like I wasn't as good as the full-time entrepreneur. Like I was less than. So because I was less than, I felt like I needed to sell cheaper products because that was the only way for me to make money in my pocket. So I was, selling a $15 ebook and a $20 actual physical book, and I was just really downplaying my ability, downplaying what I could actually accomplish. So it took me a lot longer to be successful and have a 6-figure business because I thought I wasn't good enough because I actually liked my job. I ended up becoming a full-time entrepreneur because I got laid off. I didn't get fired, I got laid off. I got laid off twice. Downsizing, budget cuts, all that good stuff. So I kind of had to get my mindset together to be a successful entrepreneur, because what I do in the day-to-day doesn't really matter if my behavior doesn't look like a winner. I had to learn to act like a winner in order to win. And people think like, oh, well, to continue the analogy, people think like, oh, well, if I just show up to practice and, and I know the plays and I know the strategies, I'm going to win. And it's like, no, you need to think and act like a winner if you want to win. So that was one thing. Another thing that I learned was I'm not the best manager. I'm not a great leader. So I wasted literally tens of thousands of dollars because I made the wrong hire. And I kept trying to train that person, month over month to do the task. And had I just hired right the first time, I would have saved myself headaches. I would have saved myself broken relationships with my clients. Like there's some clients of mine that you'll meet in the street and they'll be like, I hate her. Like it was hard, but like they never answer emails, and I'm thinking the world is great, but meanwhile, like my team isn't performing how I'm thinking in my head. So sometimes you also need to address like your ego and how you hire and the kind of leader that you are, because that's gonna make the biggest impact in the experience that your customers and your clients have. So those were, I would say, the 2 biggest obstacles that I had to overcome, my mindset and my management, in order to be a successful entrepreneur. Another question?
Hi, ladies. I'm Tip Jones, and my question is around the storytelling. So I've been to a couple sessions over the last day and a half or so, and we keep being told about the storytelling. Be authentic. Talk about yourself. Talk about where you come from. When does storytelling cross over to oversharing?
Girl. As an expert oversharer. No, there's this quote on Instagram that's like, you get to see my personality, you don't get to see my private life. So sometimes we think that being authentic is letting people see our relationships and see everything that we have going on. And, it's one thing to showcase your personality and showcase yourself having fun. And then it's another thing to like give everybody all the tea on social media. So for me, I always think about, okay, like, is this something I would want my mom to know? And if I wouldn't want my mom to know it because she follows me on Instagram and on Facebook and on everywhere else, then I don't post it. So usually if I'm uncomfortable with like my pastor or my mom or somebody knowing that information about me, then I don't post it online. That's how I know like it's oversharing. And especially if it's something that, like I've shared stuff on social media and I've had somebody come up to me at a conference like, girl, and I'm like, ooh, I'm really embarrassed that you actually know that about me. So that's how I kind of draw the line between like what I share and what I don't share. But y'all gonna get this ratchet either way.
I can't. I think that's why I decided to share the storytelling framework, because I think also too, we share some things that have no purpose and no relevance, and we'll share our drama, but there's no point or purpose or solution to it. So I sell what's relevant to what my client may be going through or experience. So if I share something, it's usually something that's happened in the past. I figured out how to overcome it, so that way now I can provide a solution, even if it's not a solution that I'm selling, but just like a piece of advice. So if there's no point to telling the story, then don't tell the story.
So to your point, Maya, the oversharing that I'm speaking of mostly is from the past. So there are some trials and tribulations that we've each gone through, and they serve as testimonies, right, for the people of faith. They serve as testimonies, but frankly, I feel like you can get to a place where folks are now sympathizing with you, and so they're like, oh, wow, you went through that. And you're really just trying to say, hey, listen, I went through that. Look at me now. But when you're marketing, when do you know where to draw the line? And so I really am talking about the past stories.
For me, I think it's like if you feel like this is actually going to help somebody, like is this actually serving them more, or is it just drawing more attention to only what you have going on? So consider like, is my audience going to experience this? If so, then I can share it so that they know how to deal with it. If they're not going to experience it, we don't have to get into like the deep details. Like there's still a way for us to be able to help people without giving them every micro detail of our life. Is that clear?
And just from the sales funnel perspective, if this story is not going to drive you to be on my email list, my text messages, my sales page, like you don't need to know. Because sometimes I feel like we try to be authentic, and then we end up giving so much of ourselves, and that our audience totally misses the point, right? So I always, again, focus on, am I posting on social media, or am I using social media to promote what I have going on? So I just I leave those very emotional conversations that could be a distraction offline or with my friends, because I really don't want to take away from my main message. And it's like, if I cannot drive you to purchase something, or if what I'm doing isn't going to build rapport with you in some kind of way where you respect me, not feel sorry for me, then I'm just going to leave it out. Because, girl, I go through drama every day, but y'all don't know half of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ladies. Give them a big round of applause.